Hey everyone, welcome to Advantage Point, the series where we unpack how smarter systems and sharper thinking create strategic advantage. This season, we're rethinking SaaS customer experience, the metrics that actually matter in 2025. Now, did you know that 68% of SaaS customers stop using a product if they don't see value in the first month? And customers with strong success metrics drive 91% higher retention than those without. Yes, metrics basically aren't vanity numbers anymore. They're survival levers. A single point shift in retention can swing SaaS revenue by millions. Now, today we'll decode which customer experience metrics actually move the needle for SaaS companies in 2025 and uncover the blind spots that even successful companies face when scaling. Now, today joining me is Dr. Brianna Rhue, optometrist, entrepreneur, and co-founder of Dr. Contact Lens, a SaaS platform that helps eye care practices capture more revenue and keep patients loyal. Her company has ranked 3 years running in the Inc. 5000 list, and she's been featured on Modern OD, Women in Optometry, The Optometry Chimes, and the list goes on. Brianna, thank you for being here. It's really great to have you.
Excited to be here. And those first stats right there, I was like, it was eating my heart over here because we have made every mistake in the book. So thanks everybody for listening and for having me on here, Daniel.
Thank you so much for joining. And before we get into it, like I always say with these shows, I don't let the guests know the questions they're going to be answering because I like to keep it conversational. So Brianna is actually on the hot seat here. But if you've ever watched her speak, you'll know that basically she knows her stuff. So I'm sure she'll basically gonna knock it out of the park. So Brianna, you ready?
I'm ready, man. I was born ready. Let's go.
Awesome stuff. So I think probably the best place I'd like to start with is just a little bit of background about you for those people that don't know you. So just want to give us a snapshot of how you started and where you are now, basically.
Yeah. So I started my healthcare entrepreneurial journey literally when I was born. My family, my dad, my mom, they owned a furniture store business. And literally, I mean, my mom made my dad go get a shop when I was born because he was building it in their basement. She's like, yeah, the sawdust is going to be a problem with the baby. So, like, either make this your hobby into money or like find a real freaking job. Right. So, entrepreneurship, he went into it. They built this incredible furniture store and then sold furniture. And so I get sales from my dad. I'm definitely my dad, trying not to ever become him, but I definitely become him. And now my son has become me, which is that's another talk. But the point of it, so in second grade, I actually got my first pair of glasses because I was a young myope that couldn't see the board. Then I married the two because my dad had two friends that were optometrists, and he always taught me that, like, don't go into something that you can use your mind, because his body just, I mean, he used his body his whole life for work, like manual labor and building furniture, lifting heavy boards, that he still has all of his 10 fingers, through the saws and everything, as we still talk about it to this day. And then I went in and I grew up now working, becoming a patient, then getting contacts in third grade, dancer, cheerleader, gymnast, then went into optometry school. Then I always knew I wanted to own a practice. So I went and bought a practice. And then 2016, I was 9 months pregnant. And my best friend, girlfriend, co-founder called me and said, hey, Bree, you want to build an app where our patients can order from us? This is when electronic medical record systems were coming on board. And like everything was really like data entry heavy. Nothing really worked, not connecting anything back. There was really no evolution. So yeah, 9 months pregnant is a great time to start a company. Why not?
As you do.
So like there's
Taking
the
it on.
yes that like changed my life. And we got $100,000 stolen from us freaking in like 3 weeks from a dev shop. Because there weren't like we didn't know. Like I really thought we were building a website for like a year. Here we built this incredible SaaS system that has like 90 integrations now. I was just looking back at all the integrations that we built and the timeline of it. I mean, I really did not know what kind of cake we were baking. And now, like what you just said, like customer experience, onboarding, training, ongoing training from sales to dev to project management to now selling on stages. I mean, I've really grown up with this company and, had to do a lot of belief busting, which you're going to kind of hear what I've really, really grown up in the last 2 years of the company.
Brilliant stuff. Brilliant stuff. Now, my first question to you. Now, when you strip everything back, what single outcome tells you a practice is really winning with Dr. Contact Lens?
Yeah, Daniel, wish I knew this earlier. It's changed actually. We thought that because in healthcare and healthcare SaaS, if you're building a SaaS company, healthcare SaaS scales very differently because you're going into a lot of, like dentists, optometrists, ophthalmologists. Like we went to school to be doctors, not business people. And that's actually what I love to teach is being the CEO of your practice because you have to have all of it, especially if you don't offload some of this. And so the doctors are really the bottlenecks, Daniel. And so there's a big change management strategy that you have to overcome. So I used to think the metric was how good their first training went, meaning the buy-in that we needed to get from the staff. That's now changed. And the metric that we monitor now literally is the amount of orders per day. So if you can measure, like you've got to get this, and this is a Dan Martell, like I'm going to quote Dan a lot because he's the one that really has changed my life. You got to have one metric for your business that can tell you everything you need to know about your business. And you got to check it daily. You have to monitor daily. We have recently, not recently, but recently, like over the last year, I've really started watching this. And oh my God, that's all I can say.
So talk to me, because I think what you mentioned previously was quite interesting. You're talking about the fact that optometrists are doctors, right? But you talk about the concept of maybe not discarding the doctor mindset, but also putting on the CEO mindset. I think that's interesting. Do you want to just give us a little bite size about that? Because I think that's really interesting. How did you manage to develop both? I mean, you've already told us you've got part of it from your dad, hence the sales flair. But how do you teach it to others who don't have that natural flair like you do and about business?
I mean, I think that's like the $10 million question, Daniel. That's what I've been like beating my head against it. We recently wrote a book. So if you do want a copy of this, it's not published yet. It's just our giveaway. It's my gift to the industry here. So you can find me on LinkedIn is my jam and message me. I'm happy to get one in the mail for you. But what I've realized is being a doctor, you go to be this great technician. We don't get any business. Like maybe you get a business course. It's not on your boards. So you're really not learning it because you're just drinking from a fire hose to learn your profession, right? Like like your eye is your brain. And everything else is obviously connected from there. So there's a lot to learn. You can diagnose over 300 eye diseases through an eye exam. So if you hear this, like an eye exam is not just glasses or contact lenses. We're looking at 95% of everything else. So in the eye, you can diagnose diabetes, hypertension, dementia, Alzheimer's. It's really a fascinating area. Like it's becoming a really big biomarker, actually, with where AI is going in companies. So if you are listening to this and you've not gotten an eye exam, I don't care if you still can see, please go get your eye exam. So looking back to it, the CEO part if you went to become a medical doctor or to med school or optometry school or dental school or whatever, I don't care what it is, they taught you how to be clear, confident, concise, to not get sued. Okay. In business, and I have been sued by a patient, by the way. So that's a 6-year story. It's another reason behind Dr. Contact Lens here. I made it out of that, by the way, because I did actually nothing wrong. So, but I learned a lot about patients and human behavior. And the other side of this is the business side, which you have to take risk that nobody taught us, because in patient care, you cannot take risk, Daniel. Like you can't take risk. But in business, you have to take risks, but no one taught us that really it's a series of questions that you have to ask yourself. However, doctors, because we have not built that confidence or that leadership style, like you're in a positional leadership. You're not in a transformational leadership position. You've not done the work. Yes, you went to school to do the work to get the position that you have, but not the leadership skills that you need to manage a team. And that's where we really fall short. So as a person that's been coached my whole life, it's not a consultant, it's a coach. And I've invested in that very heavily. So the side of the business is the risk. You have to ask, and this is for anybody, even in building a SaaS business, you've got to ask yourself a series of questions, the same question, to make a decision and make a fast decision. Now really only having, it used to be what, 80% of the information to make a decision? Now it's like 50% of the information that you need to make a decision. But now we have decision fatigue. So in clinic, constantly making decisions for people. Okay, now, yes, let me try to come over here in my business and make all these other decisions after I'm exhausted, right? And so now it's surrounding yourself with great people and having the proper checks and balances in place so you can get that off. And that's, again, something that I've learned over the course from Dan, right? My favorite freaking book is Buy Back Your Time.
That's great stuff. And I suppose maybe I know you've talked about the concept of it, but what's the one tip you would give to anyone to be able to do what you've said in terms of taking risk and making a snap decision with 50% of the information? What's your one go-to kind of trick, should I say, or your hack to say, well, actually, I'm going to do this because I know X, Y, Z. What's the one tip you would give? I think that's quite interesting.
Again, I think it's just the series of questions and knowing, like, your vision has to be so big that everybody else's visions have to stay in it, right? And it's learning to, I've delegated a lot of these decisions too, because I do have the checks and balances in it. And I learned that when I did have my first baby, I learned the value of delegation. I had to let go of stuff. I was suffocating. And like 2.5 years ago, I hired an executive assistant. We call her my chief soul officer because she protects my soul as a CEO. I don't touch my email. I don't touch my calendar. I have offloaded this. Like, that's so powerful. Like, you guys all think that I'm my boss. I have 30 bosses because everybody has like, how do you do all of this? And I don't. Like, that's the gift. Is because I have surrounded myself with people that I trust. I've surrounded myself. And again, if you get burned, it means that you didn't have a process in place. So put a freaking process in place and get some stuff off of your desk.
So put processes in place, have a fantastic team to protect your soul. That's a takeaway from what Brianna said. Exactly. Wrapping it all up now, we've got the secret. No, but that's really, really powerful stuff. Thanks, Brianna. Okay, right. Here's the next question. So within your business, what 2 numbers or stats do you check weekly that will never lie to you, even when other figures might look rosy and nice?
Honestly, any SaaS comes down to freaking sales. Number of calls made, number of demos done, number of accounts in. Like, you cannot grow if you're not doing the calls, if you're not doing the demos, right? And it's like, I love this in the quote in marketing is you're gonna waste 50% of your money in marketing. You just don't know which 50%. So true. Like, anybody listening, they're like, oh my God. When I heard that, it's such a punch in the gut. It's such a punch in the
Absolutely.
gut.
Absolutely. And I think as business owners, we can all relate to that. So that's really.
Oh my God. I mean, it's people. And it's like, if you just look at it, like, that's where we'll get into that story about how I almost hired a COO. That's a fun story.
Well, let's get into it now. Are you done with the question?
Yeah.
Answer the question. We can get into it straight away.
You just you don't know what money you're going to be wasting, but you got to do it. But that's the one metric it's freaking sales. Like, number one rule in business is don't run out of cash. So how do you keep getting cash? Because you're going to have churn. It is like you're going to have it. Yes, you want that to be under 5% or sometimes under, like, as close to 10% as you want, right? Because you add 1, and we've done that. You add 2, you lose 3. You add 2, you lose 1. You add 5, you lose 3. You add, like, it's just going to be that ebb and flow unless you fix the leaky bucket. And that's the messy part of the build. That's the really messy part of the build. So the more that you can focus on ops in the beginning, again, simplicity scales, Flex fails, get this simple, stupid.
Absolutely good stuff. Okay, here's another question for you. So, from sign up to first order, where do practices usually slow down and how do you shorten that journey?
Oh my God, they have no handoff in their office, and we try our best to do it. Like the person with the credit card isn't going to be the one doing the onboarding, okay? And the person with the credit card with the bottleneck, right, who had no process on how to hand anything off, aka most doctors. Now I go up to the front desk and I'm like, all right, Susie, we're going to implement this. And she's like, yeah, right. She's going to forget in a week, or I'm going to hope that she forgets in a week that she wanted to do this. That's how every medical office works. 99% of them. So the implementation, the handoff is critical between the doctor and the team. The doctor has a different why. The doctor's in it for the money. The doctor's in it to take care of the patients. The staff is this going to make my life easier? Right. And I have to get them over that change hump. So if you look at the change thing, like okay, Daniel, let's change some stuff. Understanding the word change. Change releases a chemical in your brain, cortisol, which puts you into fight and flight because it takes energy. And we have been taught to reserve energy since the beginning of time, right? To find food and to reproduce, right? Stay alive. So change was a really bad thing. What I've done is I've changed the word change to evolve. Evolve releases dopamine to your brain. We're not the same as we were 20 minutes ago when we started calling or talking. So we're constantly evolving. And if you think of it, okay, when you say the word change, everybody's like, I don't want to. I just don't want to. I am fine. Are you? Really? So when you say evolve, then we can get you out of that change curve and now you can't live without it. So there's different aha moments along the process that we've now flagged. And it takes a lot of time sometimes to get somebody to that aha moment because I'm changing the whole process. So like when you're selling SaaS, guys, the tech just has to work. And we've had our speed bumps, believe me, because I'm dependent on so many other things that it's really out of my control with these EMR systems. Don't get me started on that. You're listening out there, EMR companies, open up your APIs. Like first one to do it's gonna freaking win. It's gonna be like the Apple Store. Like you gotta let people in and do it the right way. Again, it's gonna be different for different people, but once they start to get it, then you fly. So that's actually where I was going with that. Your tech just has to work, guys. The people side of this business, the logins, the making sure that it's easy, that your GUI, graphic user interface, did not know what GUI was. Everyone told me I had a really pretty GUI one time, and I was like, yeah, we do, right? I was like, what the is a GUI? So you just got to make sure it works. But then the people that are going to be using it, you got to get real live feedback. You got to get down and dirty and look at your baby, call it ugly, make the changes. I mean, fortunately, I use my product every day. And to be honest, my staff hates it because they've seen the evolution of it, right? Because we test everything and they're like, my God. But it's part of my core values is evolution, is change. If you're not going to be on this team, if you can't do it, you don't have to be on this team. So get off the bus. I've coached people promoted them to patient many times. So that's how you have to look at it. Tech just has to work. This comes to really your customer success. And your salespeople have to know your customer success people are going to do a good job, or else they're not going to sell it. Yeah. Very, because we've built an API that people can build to. So we've done that multiple times and it works really, really well that way. Right. So yeah, we've done that many times, but everybody wants it to be on their system. Like the EMRs are like fat and happy right now. And what's exciting is tech, you can get around it now. So yeah, because it's not theirs. It's not their data. It's really, if you think about it in the healthcare system, it's the patient that owns the data. It's their data. Then the doctor, because they paid the EMR company, it's not the EMR company's data, but they're the ones that are all locked down. So I've beaten on these doors. And they're like, yeah, no, we're not integrating with you. And I'm like, okay, so 10,000 of your users said that you're not integrating with us, so I can't compete. Like, as now I'm putting on my doctor hat. Now you're telling me that you're not going to give me the service to compete, to offer and compete against online retailers that are literally eating us for lunch. So all 10,000 of your users knew that you made that decision. Get better, man. Like, that's the bane of my existence.
Very good point. Very good point. Okay, here's another
Where are
doctor,
we going with
doctor
this?
slash another doctor slash CEO business question for you.
Yeah.
So, what small behavior? Okay, what small behavior in week one? Because let's say you're onboarding someone. So, what small behavior, maybe in the first early part of you onboarding them, tells you that a clinic or a client will stick long term? What's one thing that you can spot to say, well, no, well, actually, these are going to be a good sticky client for a good amount of time? What, in your opinion, what would that be?
Again, it's changed. Like, it used to be how that first training would go to get them to the aha moment. We have this built in, like where we go back in time. Daniel, we pull in 2 years of data because my sister and I built our LLM, not even knowing that we were building AI. AI is just a large language model at this point, guys. It doesn't have feelings. It doesn't like know what it's doing. It's just a bunch of if then statements, with agents now trying to log in, like my sister and I not knowing it. We made it into a SKU item. So we would sit there and we would onboard a customer like, oh my God, we have 1,000 prescriptions to verify and match. Heavy drop down select, biophenyltoric, -1, -75, access 180. Like, these are all parameters for a contact lens, by the way. So it's like 25 drop down, 26 drop down. Okay. It's a lot of drop down, but we had to do that to build that database. So now what we do is when we go back in and we pull in that information, we can now show you, we've built a CRM, customer relationship management tool, that no doctors know what a CRM is. Salespeople do.
Mm.
We built that for your contact lens patients. So Daniel, tell me who's overdue to come back and see me for an eye exam. Let's invite them in. Tell me who's due to reorder. Tell me who ghosted you and went somewhere else, and invite them. So our record is, in 3 weeks, we made an office $97,000. Ask me if they're still a client, because they couldn't get their staff to do it. I couldn't get them. They no-showed their training 3 times. Could not get their staff, could not get their girl to change their process.
Wait, hang on. Let's rewind a minute.
Huh?
I think
Yeah.
we need to.
Yes.
I think we all need to wrap our minds around what you just said. You just said in 3 weeks you made them how much,
$97K.
and they're no longer a client.
They're no longer a client because they could not get their girl that was in charge of this to change.
That sounds insane, ludicrous to me.
It is insane, Daniel. It is insane. But this, again, it comes back to leadership skills. So you are instead of letting this human go, which you should have let go, to put a process in place, you made the wrong decision. That's what I'm saying. Like, the decisions that we're making that are hurting and killing our businesses, it's not okay, guys. So when you employ these things, like, you went to it from survival to scale. This is survival of your business. And I say this to all the entrepreneurs out there, just keep going. Figure these little things out, but it is change management that you got to get really good at. You got to figure out that aha moment. And again, it may take you 80 times. But now, is that customer worth it? Because we've fired customers because you just don't get it. Like, you're not willing to, this is both a process, a protocol, coaching, accountability. Like, we're the accountability police too in your practice, where I can show you, okay, Daniel, you saw 20 patients today. 10 of them were contact lens wearers. 5 of them walked out of your door and 5 of them didn't. I'm fighting right now with one that we're onboarding because, like, a rebate situation. I'm like, oh my God, it's a patient rebate. It's not even your rebate. But yesterday, and I see it because we're already connected, you saw 10 contact lens patients. 8 of them walked out on you. So does this rebate in the office really matter? Because your process is broken as but she's so hung up on the wrong thing. So she's getting in her own way. You've got to get people. This is all about belief breaking and belief busting, because they haven't, like, what you're hearing here is years of coaching, years of reading books, years of experiencing this, and just beating my head against the wall here. Hence my book, like, figure it out. That's why I revert to singing now.
Well, I wouldn't tell
Let
them
it
that if you
go,
don't want to
let
do
it
it.
go. Let that old order process go. I got jingles for day.
And just a quick one, actually, because I think the recurring thing you've said, it's all about change management. So do you just want to give us like a brief insight when what kind of training, I don't know if that's the right word, training package, or what kind of like the brief overview of the training that you bring to these practices to basically onboard them? Just talk us briefly what that's like, essentially.
Yeah, I get it. Like, it starts with the doctor making the decision because they can't let their staff make one, which is a no-no. Like, get your staff on board because you're not going to be the one managing this. And also, they've got to learn how to ask the right questions too, because they're going to get snowed by someone saying something that's going to go with what they want, that's not going to move the needle for you. So at the end of the day, you do make the decision. But this again comes to asking the right question. So now in onboarding, they come on, we have them save 2 or 3 orders because we're going to walk them all the way through the process. We let them drive it. So we do all of this via Zoom. We let them drive it. We've tried like the video trainings and all that stuff. People just are so busy, they're not going to get to video training. And they all think they're so special, Daniel. Oh my God, guys, you're not special. I'm so sorry. Your coffee pot is so special, Daniel. Like that brain that you have, oh my God, you're so special. How you take care of patients, you're so special. No, you're not. Sorry for the gut punch there, but a patient calls you. Like, it's the same in any business. It doesn't matter if you're selling sandwiches or eye care or freaking, I don't know, a pen. Someone calls you, and this is where we get in the healthcare space. A patient, AKA customer, calls you. You get them in, you see them, you do a good job, you walk them out, you check them out. And in eye care is awesome because 90% of our business is retail related. So you get to sell them what you prescribe. You got a capture rate that's 60%, which means that 4 out of those 10 patients walked out on you to go to Costco, to go online, because your process was broken, because Susie at the front desk didn't explain it correctly. So that whole thing, that's the system that we teach them. We have to get them out of their own way, that your patients are right here. They are telling you, they are giving you feedback. So if you hear nothing here, you get feedback all day. It's when you want to listen to it is when you can grow. And it's even silent feedback. So if people start giving you feedback and then they don't get anywhere with you and they stop giving you feedback, that's a really dangerous place.
Actually, that links on very nicely to my next question, because you've written about the follow-up factor. So what roles do reminders and nudges play in patient retention? I think you've kind of touched on it there, but that was so, it was like you looked at my notes, and I keep saying this to people, it's almost like the way I write my questions, they must, I don't know whether they're hacking into my system or whatnot, but they literally
Oh,
follow
we're
the
all
order that
connected
I
here.
put here. Yeah. My API is
Telepathic.
connected to your API.
Faux show. Faux show. It was brilliant.
Yeah, but so what would you say? What role? So maybe expand on what you just said a little bit. What role do reminders and nudges play in patient retention?
Oh my God, just so much. Like, we're all so we're so busy, right? And I even go as far, Daniel, as like, we still do handwritten postcards for patients to come back in. That we're in such a cool digital age, but don't forget the little stuff too. Mail still works, and especially if it's your own handwriting. So upon check-in, patient fills out a little postcard. A lot of them, like, this is also an IQ test to see if you know even how to fill out a postcard still. There's a lot that goes into this, okay? Just saying. Again, I'm looking at you as a patient, but I'm also looking at you as like a patient. How you walk, how you talk, how you interact. Like, there's a lot here that we do as doctors. We're therapists now. We're like everything. And then the reminder side, your practice, or even this, like, the new growth should only be like in tech startup. Yes, like, you're going to have these big growth years. That's how we made, obviously, the Inc. 5000 SaaS is going to scale. But in far as like your practice, it's doing a good job. And one of my favorite quotes, this was in the book Beyond Entrepreneurship 2.0. When you do good work, it creates more work. Freaking point, man. That is the freaking point of what you do. So if you don't want patients, if you don't want customers, like, then don't learn. Don't change that mindset of yours. So a lot of this, like success, when we come back to successes, it's a mindset. Looking for a mindset. And it can be a 25-year-old doctorate at a school, and it can be a 65-year-old doctor that's been doing it for 30 years. It is mindset. It's not demographic. It's not male, female, whatever. It's none of that. It is mindset. So whether you have a growth mindset, and that's what I teach my kids. So like when we get to go to school today, it's funny. Like my 9-year-old would wake up for school. He's like, "Do I get to go to school today?" I'm like, "Yeah, but you do get to go to school today." Like versus like, "Do I have to go to school?" Like that one word. I'm really, really careful about words, even from this young age. And now my 3-year-olds too is like, "Do I get to go to school today?" Then they don't want to. Okay. But yeah, you get to.
Yeah. Wow, time is going by so really quickly. I'm just trying to see what I can fit in. We were talking about APIs and connectivity earlier on. So, and like you touched on it earlier on as well. So, scaling SaaSes usually means scaling integrations. Now, I can hear the sigh already. And this is a story. Well, hopefully you can give us one or two examples. But which partner taught you the hardest lesson about keeping customer experience smooth with all your integrations and people that you've worked with? Obviously, don't name any names, but just give us a story. What's probably the most difficult partner you'd had to work with in terms of your product?
I mean, honestly, it's like it's their mindset as a company too. Okay, if you said no, I still have a company to run, so I'm going to get around you. So either you can work with us or we're still going to figure it out. Which sandbox do you want to play in? So Epic is a good example of people that just have a monopoly. She's done a great job. Like her story is on a podcast. It's like a 3-hour podcast and worth every minute to listen to. But that's not in small B2B optometric practices like hospitals, like a hospital system is its own animal. That's not most SaaS. You're not going to sell your SaaS into that. It's going to be the more B 2 locations, 1 location, 5 location, right? If you can start the enterprise route, 100% start there. Like that's great, but it's really hard to crack into that. So the lesson there is just you got to keep going. I mean, I don't think that's what I've learned. Door after door being shut, you are not letting me compete. And what I wish business owners understood is you have to speak up for yourself. I know that you maybe not even have the words or you don't even know it, but you have people like me fighting for you. So support that too. Don't be a hater, because I've had cartoon characters made out of me. My product's now been knocked off twice. Or we've changed the industry color from blue to purple. It's been a really fun adventure, I'll tell you that.
Do you want to just? I find that intriguing when you talked about your colors change from blue to purple. What's Give us a short version.
Yeah,
What's
so
the?
like the whole industry, like when you walk into
Mm,
exhibit halls, the
mm.
whole industry is blue. Blue. Blue logos everywhere. Sea of blue. Sea of blue logos everywhere. Very traditional. And we hired somebody really early on with our brand. Guess what color we picked? It was blue. And he goes, "I'm going to make one suggestion that we should change your color to purple." I was like, "Yeah, let's go." Like, that means royal. Like, there's so much into a color. And now, since 2016, all these purple logos are popping up. So we're like, "Oh, gee, like, let's go." Freaking go. So it's simple things like that. Just realizing, and it's been hard. I mean, this path we've had to build it. Like we've only had a couple companies to emulate. And so you have to, yes, everybody copies everybody. I'm not saying that we've not copied people, but we've done it in a right way. We've built friends along the way. And that's really at the end of it all that you have left. So is your own well-being, your own how you think about yourself. I know in my heart of hearts that we have done this the right way. People have laughed at us. They've told us that we should walk before we run. that we had no idea that we were doing. I mean, I just posted about this on LinkedIn on Sunday. Like, again, the vulnerability that you have to have as a founder, having posts deleted, like on a major Facebook group where someone's trying to compare two entities, us versus another one that does similar stuff that is not, again, not the same, guys. These are the questions you need to ask. So I'm a huge supporter. I'm a huge cheerleader for people that are in the arena, that are in the mud, that have the blood, sweat, and tears, that have given up the moments with your family. I see you. I support you. So just do it, man. Like, just do it. I get emotional because it's,
No, that's absolutely fine. Absolutely fine, because you're basically talking about what you've lived and what you've experienced, and all business owners can relate to what you're saying, right? Because you only have
yeah,
so many hours in the day to get stuff done, and that doesn't make you any less. If you're a family person, that doesn't make you, because you're a business owner, doesn't excuse your responsibilities to have a life, to have a family. So you just got to make the sacrifices every now and then. So I appreciate what you're saying and actually being open and so vulnerable.
yeah. And like one story that brings up is so I'm a 9 and a 3-year-old. I'm a wife. I'm a mother. I'm a yogi. I'm a pickleball player. I'm a reader. I do all these things because it lights me up. Like I'm a Monday person. Like you have Monday people and Friday people. Like I am excited for Mondays, right? And I'm not telling you like every day is a Monday. Like I'm excited for every
Yeah,
Monday. I'm not.
I get what you mean.
But like more times than not, like I'm a very positive. That's just how I've been. Like my dad is. They called me Pop Tart my whole life because I just Pop Tarted out of bed. Like, and that it was my friends were in town this last weekend, and they're like, we all make fun of each other on how we met. My girlfriend April, she's like we reenact all this all the time. She's like, "Hey, I'm Brianna. You want to be my friend?" Like that's how she like really me in a nutshell. So I'm explaining all this stuff to them, and they're my two really really good friends. They were in town, and we were talking because they're optometrists. They're just doing the onesie twosies. Like they're really happy in their careers, and like that was just not for me. Like I got out of the dark room. I wanted to be this business owner, this entrepreneur, just not me. And so I'm talking to them, and I'm like, yeah, like I sell SaaS, and they're like, SaaS, like you sell like SaaS, like. And I'm like, I have to explain now all these acronyms. So for like 40 minutes, I'm explaining everything. Okay. So SaaS was one. Like, yes, I actually do sell SaaS, but like software as a service. And they still can't remember it. So like we did like a quiz at the end. Okay. And then we were talking about ARR. And they're like, again, Brianna, like what's ARR? And so then I explained MRR and ARR. And then customer success. And I explained the GUI and like all these funny acronyms that you just get. And like a CEO, like didn't even know what a CEO or a CTO was. They were like, what's a CTO? And I was like, oh my God, this is going to be a long weekend. I need another martini. The other funny part was like level up. And they're like, Brianna, I have never said level up. Like I've just it's like never said that. So like your friends, like your best friends, you just are not going to get it. And that's okay. But you laugh at it, you make fun of it, that you're selling to. And I was like, oh my God, you guys are like solidifying everything that I've been trying to like change. Yeah, that was hard. So then one other fun story about being all the things that you have to be as a founder. I was 4 weeks postpartum for my second baby. And I was outside and my sales team at the moment had like ran us into the ground. Because again, I wasn't measuring these metrics. So I was looking for a COO. My baby wasn't even supposed to be here yet. He was born at 34 weeks, 35 weeks, and he wasn't even supposed to be here yet. Okay. Like I'm having this conversation with this guy that was in the industry. And he goes, Brianna, do you ever walk in the morning and write down the 3 things you need to do that day? And I was like, my God, like 3 things? Daniel, I erupted. Because here I am, postpartum, just had a baby. My business is on fire. I'm $400,000 in the hole. I'm having this conversation with you for a freaking reason, man. Like, yes, I know all of this. 3 things? You think I have 3 things on my list? And I've repaired this bridge. Took me 7 calls, 7 emails, 7 text messages before I rolled out this story, just so you know. So these little frogs, these 3 frogs, they're right on my desk. We call it the 3 frog purple way method. So it's kind of like eat the frog meets productivity meets atomic habits. Okay. And this conversation, I was like, what I don't need is a list of 3 things. What I need is a freaking wife that's going to like take care of all this stuff, take care of the kids, take care of me, take care of the business, take care of like 3 things. My God, like, dude, this conversation's over. Like, you don't get where I'm going. And I couldn't hear him in that moment. So also like in when you're giving or asking for advice, you have to meet the people where they are too. And so that's just what we talk about EQ. What I needed in that moment was grace, right? So I fast forward like 3 things, 3 things, 3 things, 3 things. What do you mean by 3 things? And I was rereading Atomic Habits, and he talked about like the thing of like moving something. Like he talks about paper clips. So if you need to make 100 sales calls, you start with 100 paper clips and you move them. So that's giving you this little like visual on your desk. Okay. So then I was like, all right, so maybe he didn't mean just like 3 things. Maybe it's like 3 things to move my business forward that day. And so I called him back, finally got him on the phone. I was like, is this maybe like, do you remember that conversation? Because I threw some F-bombs. Like, and he goes, yeah, I remember the conversation, Brianna. So that's how this was born. So it's a little accountability game that we play. And even the offices that we onboard, they get their frogs too. So it's one frog is one thing that'll bring you or somebody else joy. So this brings me joy. He's moving. That's my joy frog. He was actually on my joy frog. One hard task you need to do that day and one easy task you need to do that day that will move your business forward, not this ever grinding to-do list. Okay. It's just simple things and you got to move them. So if it's 2:00 and I go back in my offices and like nobody's moved their frogs, it's a conversation starter. Danielle, like why your frogs haven't moved? What are they today? So it's a conversation starter on accountability because nobody likes accountability. You know what you have to do.
Yeah,
You
of
know what you
course.
have to do, Daniel.
God, do it. That's really great stuff. Oh,
So that's
wow.
the frog game.
Thank you for sharing that. And I think that's really powerful and something that everyone should look to sort of implement because it's so simple. Because a lot of the times, as business owners, you have, like you say, this to-do list of, I got to do X, Y, Z. But actually, is it performance or is it actually moving the needle? Are you just ticking a box or actually moving the needle of your business, which is what counts at the end of the day? So what brings you joy? Because obviously you have to stay sane running your business. What's a hard task that you don't want to do, but not just any hard task? What's actually going to move your business forward? And what's an easy task? That's really powerful stuff, man. Yeah, hats off to you for that. That's really, really good.
Thank you.
I'm almost out of time. I'm gonna try and squeeze in 2 more questions. And again, like I said to you, pre-podcast, a lot of the people I'm bringing on, you've got a wealth of knowledge, a wealth of experience. I know it's going to be impossible to squeeze everything in our 40-minute chat, which is getting there at the moment. So, if you're up for it, would love to have you back again,
Yeah.
just to again, delve into your mind. I've heard her, guys, so she can't tell me no when I reach out to her again.
I see what you did there. You're booking a meeting from a meeting. That's called the band thing.
Absolutely. Gotcha. All right. Okay.
I love that.
Let me see one. Okay, here's one for you. One of the last two. Now, you were talking about doors being slammed in your face and people not giving you that place to compete. So here's a question for you. If a clinic sort of questions your price, because I'm sure as lovely as a person you are, you don't do it for free,
Still getting
right?
a daily, Daniel. Still getting a daily.
So if a clinic questions price, what single proof metric changes that conversation? What metric you point them to that hopefully helps the light
My
bulbs
God,
come on
dude. If
or
you
the
could
penny
sell
drops?
that, like we'd all be billionaires. Like I don't like so we do this calculator, okay, where I'm like, all right, you told me these are your numbers. So you see 25 patients a day, 5 days a week with a little bit of vacation. Yeah. Great. What percentage of those are contacts? What's your capture rate? 80%. So that means 30% of your patients are walking. I'm like, I'm confirming all of it. And what's a patient worth to you? $400, $500? What do you think? Okay. So in that number, we have a little calculator, and this calculator is ridiculous. So if you just have one patient walking a day, it's $90,000 a day, or sorry, not $90,000 a year. Okay. 1 RX a day. So you got 2 walking. 3 walk-in, 4 walk, like, what is it? Because it's a lot. So I was on the call the other day with a potential customer, client, and their calculator is $1.6 million walking up. And I go, but you guys are really expensive. Like, I can't afford your service at, I think it's like $300 a month right now, 340. I'm like, which number is expensive? The 1.6 million or the 4K I'm asking for you? Like, I think maybe you should go back to school here and figure out your zeros. Like, we're doing it in fourth grade math right now, like tens, hundreds, thousands, ones, tens, hundred, thousands, millions. Like, the comma is in the wrong spot that you're paying attention to. So to me, it's never money. To me, it's they didn't see the value. We confused them somewhere along the sale. They're getting in their own headspace because now they've got it. They know they have nobody at the front desk that's going to own it because they didn't give it to them to own. So you see all of their beliefs come up. And I can't undo that for them. They have to want to do that. That's the customers that come on with Dr. Contact Lens. And those are the successful customers. Those are the successful practices. Again, I can tell you if you're going to be successful or not in that first training. And it's not on us. I can lead a horse to water, but I can make you really thirsty. Really thirsty. But you got to do the work.
Good stuff. Okay. And here's the final one. I mean, obviously, you're doing well. I mean, from where you started off, I think you said 9 months pregnant to where you talked about being $400,000.
Now it's an unruly
in
fourth
the hole.
grader. Dr. Contact Lens is a fourth grader right now. Oh, God.
To where you are.
Middle school? Oh, my God. That's going to be awful.
To where you are. So I know probably in your head, you know where you want to be in the next. I mean, I think these days it's really hard for someone to say, I know where I'm going to be in, like, I've got like a 10-year plan. I mean, you can have something mapped out in your head, but,
There's no
I was
10-year
you
plans
that told me
anymore.
that.
There's no
Yeah,
10-year
I don't know
plans.
if it was you that said that to me, but someone said that to me and it really stuck. So, because things evolve so quickly, right?
So fast.
I mean, if you're looking at where you want to be in the next sort of, as Dr. Contact Lens in the next maybe year, 2 years, you have a goal, you have what that looks like. But one thing I like to make this do is to make this relatable to viewers and listeners, because you're obviously a great businesswoman. You're doing what you're doing and you're absolutely smashing it. But from your perspective,
That's
what
what
would you
everyone
say?
would like to think.
Well, I beg to differ.
No, I've done the hard work. I
beg to differ. I think you're being modest. But what would you say are maybe some of the biggest challenges or bottlenecks that you're having at the moment that you think is stopping you from getting to, well, not think that you know are stopping you from getting to where you want to be in the next sort of 2 years? Do you want to share some of that? Okay.
Me.
It can't be everywhere, right?
Again, in that book, the Buy Back Your Time, like, when it's so painful, like these journeys or the adventures so painful, I wouldn't trade it for the world. So don't think that that's what this means. It's really your belief busting. It's your letting go. It's you surrounding yourself by great people and letting them lead. It's you pouring into yourself first so you can pour into those around you. How you do that, like, I wake up, I go for a walk, I read, I fill my head with good things. My LinkedIn is a thread that's teaching me, not just for doom scrolling. It's that, like, my vision, and I've had to make it. I didn't even know what we were building. So, like, our vision has had to get so much bigger than it ever was. Like, our goal is to keep every prescription that a doctor writes inside their store. That's our goal. So when you go see a doctor and you go somewhere else, you're putting yourself at risk. Because that doctor has 12 families to feed, 12 families to pay. They've got equipment to invest in you. They went to all this school to invest in you. And for what? To save $2 on a box of contacts when we're actually less expensive. So it's a whole ecosystem. Healthcare is a whole ecosystem. And as patients, you have to take care of your doctor as much as your doctor takes care of you. And that's what's missing in healthcare. That's why you're seeing so much burnout in physicians in their 40s and their 50s. So if you want a robot taking care of you guys, keep doing it. We're doing it.
Well, there you go. A powerful soundbite to end the session. But I think we've taken a lot from this, especially around the parts of you can't grow alone. Integration is important. And I think probably the biggest thing, correct me if I'm wrong, Brianna, but the biggest thing from what hearing you saying is the fact that change management is so important, in making any business work or even adopting a new concept that will actually help you because it determines how you see yourself, it determines where you see your business, it determines whether you recognize an opportunity that lies in front of you. I still can't get my mind over the fact that you made a clinic $97,000 in 3 weeks and they're no longer a client. Like that is absolutely insane, but it just boils down to the mindset. So that's really, really powerful stuff. And we're really, really glad to have you on here. And I have a strong suspicion that you'll be back again. And you already said you can't say no. Well, um, again, really,
We'll
really
move that joy frog that day too.
yeah, exactly. So before we round up, do you have one final thing? Okay, here's one plug for you. So, what's the one thing you want potential customers or clients to know about Brianna and Dr. Contact Lens?
That I wake up every day, yes, to build my own dreams, but also those around me. And to really, I'm fortunate and I worked hard on this to find my passion, to find what lights me up so I can be in that. And what I wish people knew was get out of your own way. Just get out of your own way. Like that, it's suffocating you. And when you ask for help and you be vulnerable, like you kind of saw that interaction, that's powerful. That's connection. That's what medicine is. That's what healthcare is. That's why we're here on this planet.
Awesome stuff. Listen, Brianna, thank you so, so much for your time. I've certainly learnt a lot, and I know our viewers certainly have as well. So, guys, if today's episode has sparked an idea, struck a spot, leave a comment, hit subscribe, and leave us a rating. And it helps others discover these powerful conversations and that we're having. Again, I'm Daniel Duru, the founder of Optimus 7 AI, and I will be with you again shortly with another interesting and knowledgeable guest. Take care, guys. Bye.
Thank you.